All right, no cuts, no takes. I just want to open up to you guys about all of my addictions because I've had a lot in the past. I've had six, and going from worst to best, well, if you want to call it that, it's drugs, vaping. If I mean, I guess you can consider vaping drugs, but drugs, vaping, alcohol, porn slash masturbation, which you can classify as lust, food, and then video games. And the purpose of this video is to not only open up to you guys, but also just break down each one of these addictions that I've had in the past. And now, after overcoming all of them, break down each one of them and kind of give you the story behind how I got into them, as well as how I was able to overcome them. So, if any of you guys are struggling with similar addictions, hopefully you can get some value from this and hopefully beat the power and the evil of some of these addictions. So, I guess we'll start off with the worst one, drugs. I started off smoking weed around the age of 15. Some of you probably have started earlier, some later, but 15 is a pretty young age to start smoking, I'm not going to lie. And I remember the first time that I ever did anything involving weed. I went to one of my buddy's house. We went down in his basement and I had an edible, which is where there's THC inside of, like, in this case it was a brownie, but it can be like cookies, gummy bears, just any type of like normal looking food, but there's THC inside of it which gets you high after like 30 to 45 minutes. And I was only supposed to eat half of it, but nobody told me that. And I ate the whole thing, and it ended up being like 300 milligrams. And for any of you that are familiar with that, for your first time ever doing something with weed, having a 300 milligram edible is a lot. So, half hour, 45 minutes went by, didn't feel anything. An hour went by, still didn't feel anything. And then about an hour 15, hour 30 after eating the whole thing, some like random instance happened that I just thought was the funniest thing in the world. I don't even remember what it was. And I just started like rolling on the floor, just like hysterically laughing. And that's like the last thing that I remember from that night, because like I have pictures and videos on my phone that my friend sent me of me like super fucked up. And apparently we went on like a 2 to 3 hour road trip and I was just completely just fried out of my mind in the back of the car. And like there's one video in particular that was, it's so funny looking at now. I was so fried, but yeah, so that was the first time I ever did it, and then one thing spiraled into another and I started smoking. My first time smoking was in the basement of another one of my friend's house. I went down there, hit a bowl out of a bong. It was a snowman bong, and it was fitting because it was like December, January time, and I was still also 15 at this time. And when I smoked the bong, that's when it really started becoming a habit because I enjoyed smoking more than like the edible. So I started smoking on a regular basis. It started being like an every weekend type thing, and then it turned into me buying my own shit and smoking by myself on my own time. And then that turned into literally every single day. And then that spiraled into buying my own dab pen, which is like it's like a vape version of smoking weed basically, where you carry around like this little wax pen that you don't need like lighter or anything to light it up. And I would carry that around with me at all times. I would hit it like multiple times an hour, every hour for the entire course of the day. I was going into the bathroom in school doing it, and it just turned bad, dude. And I did that all the way up till the age of 22. But around the age of 20 to 2021 was when I started getting introduced to harder drugs, because it was around this time that I was freshman, sophomore year of college. And if any of you guys are familiar with the college scene, there's a lot of crazy shit that goes down in college. Even though I went to a very small school, college, the college experience, as it's known to be, is a pretty dangerous one if you decide to go down that path. And that's exactly what I did. I was I was doing Molly and Xans, which are a type of harder drug. I never did shrooms. I never did acid or any type of like of those mind altering drugs. I just did Molly and Xans, which I wasn't too fond of Xans. There was always a period of like 2 or 3 hours every time I did Xans where I have zero recollection of it. And then I would wake up the following morning to like pictures in my phone and pictures that I took with other people that they sent me that I have zero recollection of ever going there, because I just didn't remember it. And the last time I ever did Xans was a night where I woke up the following morning and my car was moved on the other side of campus. And everyone that I talked to when I was asking them the following morning said that I was the one who drove it. And the fact, like, just the thought of me getting behind the wheel of a car and not fucking remembering it scared the shit out of me, because I easily could have died myself or killed somebody or gotten into a really bad accident that night. And that feeling alone scared me from ever doing Xans ever again. But Molly was a different story, because Molly is a very like up drug. Like, it gets you it's the best way to describe it is euphoria. It gives you just a straight sense of euphoria, and you feel like you feel like you're the king of the world, honestly. And from what I was told, I don't know if this is true or not, but you're only supposed to do Molly. Like, I mean, obviously you're not supposed to do Molly at all, but you're only supposed to do it like 3 times a year. And I was doing it like 3 times a week for multiple weeks on end. And that one was hard to quit. That one was hard to let go of, because like I said before, that feeling of euphoria becomes addictive. And every time we would do it, like me and the people that I would do it with, we would get in one of our cars and we would sit in like a parking lot that nobody went to on campus, and we would hotbox, we'd smoke weed and just listen to music. And like the frequency of certain sounds and certain music when you're on Molly is like, it feels like you're so just in touch with the sounds, especially if you listen to like really good music. And just that feeling, that sense of euphoria was very hard to let go of. And I think the way that I was able to break myself from that was environment, just removing myself from that environment. And that resulted in me having to step away from the group of people that I was hanging around during that time. I ended up moving out of the room that I was living in and commuting to college for the second semester of that year. And then I ended up commuting the second semester of every year for the rest of the time that I was at college, because I was a soccer player in college. So I would live on campus during the fall, which is when our season was, because I didn't feel like driving to and from practice literally 7 days a week, because some of our practices were at like 6 a.m. So I didn't feel like doing that. So I would live on campus during the fall and then commute during the spring just to separate myself from that environment. And then when I did live on campus, I would just like stay in my room and only go to the gym and stuff. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So those three, Molly, Xans, and weed, were like the main three drugs that I was addicted to. Now, going back a bit, weed was a bit of a tough one to quit for me. A lot of people say that you can't become addicted to weed, but if you do it enough and you do it every single day, multiple times a day, like I did, you become very dependent on it, especially when you're like me and I used it to sleep. I would mainly just smoke at night, and especially at the beginning, and then obviously it became like an all day thing, but I really smoked a lot at night to fall asleep. And when I first quit weed, because I quit all of these things cold turkey, by the way, like just as for a frame of reference. And when I first quit weed cold turkey, I didn't sleep for the first 3 days because I was so dependent on smoking weed before bed as like a way to fall asleep and like get tired, because I would smoke indica, which is a type of strain that makes you like more relaxed and more tired. And a lot of people actually use it like constructively to help them fall asleep. But I became so dependent on it that I didn't sleep for the first 3 days of quitting it, and it was miserable. I would literally sit in this bed right back here, and I would just stare at the ceiling for hours, just like wanting to smoke so bad. But I told myself, I made the commitment to myself. I was like, I'm not gonna smoke again. I don't want to smoke again. And I've smoked like from that point until now. Like it's very far and few in between. And it's been a really long time since I last smoked. But the biggest thing that helped me quit it was just to remember why. Like remember why I was doing it. Because it's expensive. Like I said before, it's been a while since I've smoked, but it's it was expensive back then too. Like, and I wasn't just buying like some fake white boy shit either. Like the the people that I would smoke with, like we had some connections. We were smoking some gas, as you would call it, or pressure. But yeah, the biggest thing was just to remember why I was doing it. It wasn't just the money, it was for health reasons as well. Like at the time I was trying to become a professional soccer player, so it was affecting my cardio and my endurance, and it was affecting my productivity in terms of like getting shit done for school. And it just wasn't, some people can be productive on weed, but it just wasn't for me. Like I would always get the munchies, I would always binge out on food, and it just wasn't good. So just remembering your why every time you get that feeling that you really want to smoke or do drugs of any kind, just remember your why behind why you're doing it. And then moving on, which is kind of considered a drug, but vaping or nicotine in general. I still use nicotine to this day. I use like the nicotine pouches like Zins. I actually have one in right now. But vaping was probably the hardest one to quit out of all of these, because I started at the age of 14 and I didn't quit until 2023. So that's six, that's like 8 or 9 years basically straight. And then I quit that cold turkey as well. And one of the hardest things is like the sensation of like putting something up to your mouth and like having your mouth like do something. That sounds so wrong, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean. But it's like not having anything to put in my mouth was, I think, the hardest thing. It wasn't even the nicotine chemical that was addictive to me. Like, because if you vape for like 8 or 9 years, you don't even get a fucking buzz anymore. You have to like double hit it, triple hit it. Like inhale it all the way so it like gets into you, and like it's a scary spiral to go down. And the way I was able to quit this was food, obviously, because food would give me a similar sensation, which I'll get into my food addiction, which is kind of where it came from later on in this video. But the one of the most helpful things when it came to quitting vaping was chewing gum and chewing on sunflower seeds. Because like I said before, just giving your mouth something to do will kind of like take away that subconscious feeling in your mind that like you want to vape. Obviously the sensations are still there, but chewing gum, sunflower seeds, stuff like that, like I used to take the little pieces of plastic off of like the mechanical pencils at school, and I used to chew on those too to so I wouldn't crave vaping. And then obviously another one was to remove myself from the environment, because I used to, before I was 21, I used to buy all my vapes from a friend of mine. So removing myself from that, and then when I did turn 21 and I was able to buy it, I would just not carry any cash around with me, because the smoke shop that did sell them didn't take card, because it was like I live in a very small town, so not carrying cash around with me allowed me to not have the ability to buy them. So I would say just do everything in your power to limit your access to it, because similar to food, which like I said I'll get into later, it's like out of sight, out of mind. Like if all of these addictions, if they're not surrounded by me, I'm not tempted by them. If there's no junk food in my house, I'm not going to be tempted to eat junk food. If there's no vapes and drugs and alcohol around me, I'm not going to want to do that, right? But maybe for some of you it's different, but that's how it is for me. So that's vaping. Now for alcohol. Alcohol was a pretty easy one to quit for me. It's not like I was a borderline like alcoholic or anything like that. But this one is environment as well. I feel like a lot of these tie into your environment and who you surround yourself with, and the type of activities that the people that you hang around with do. I think that's a pretty big indicator of whether or not, or rather how easy or difficult it's going to be to quit these addictions. So removing myself from that environment, moving back home, just not having it around me was definitely a big one for alcohol. But to give you a story about alcohol, the thing that kind of like really set it in stone for me to not drink anymore was I passed out. Like not just like blackout, but like I was walking back to my dorm and I just face planted on the fucking concrete, and like I had like a cut on my eye and like bruised like shoulder and stuff, and like I don't remember if anybody was around, hopefully not, but you know, it just wasn't a good look. I don't know how I got back to my room, but yeah, that scenario right there kind of like scared me a little bit, because people die from alcohol all the time, whether it's drunk driving or like alcohol poisoning, or like I could have went to the hospital, like anything could have happened. Like all of these stories that I'm going to tell you, like anything can happen with it. Like I could just have easily have died in all of these scenarios, and I could never be sitting here talking to you right now, which is why I'm making this video to begin with, and I'm advocating so much to help as many of you as possible break these addictions. Now, I'm not saying that you can like you don't have to like cut them completely out and never ever do them again. That's just me personally. Like I'll probably drink here and there. Like I'll drink on my wedding day. I'll drink like here and there as I get older and stuff. But like just right now, like the season of my life that I'm in, where I want to grow and evolve and improve as much as possible, it's just not constructive for me to do that kind of stuff, you know? So to each their own, I guess. If you want a channel about balance, go talk to some blue pill guy. I don't know. I don't watch any of that stuff. But the next addiction that I had was porn and masturbation. This one, I know I say like this one was probably the most difficult for all of them, but like this one this one's heavy cuz I started masturbating around the age of 9, which is very very early, and I got introduced to it by my cousin, which sounds very Alabama of me. Fucking incest, but yeah, I got introduced to it by my cousin. Not he didn't show me or anything. Don't think it's like that, but um he just like introduced the concept of it to me basically. And that's where I got introduced to porn. One thing led to another. It started as like once a week and then it turned into once a day and then multiple times a day. And I have a very obsessive and addictive personality. So anything that I get intrigued with and immersed into, it becomes like the only thing that I think about. So that's that's where a lot of these addictions stem from, was this obsessive personality that I have. But now I've been able to obviously translate it into more constructive things like training and improving myself in every aspect of my life, scaling my personal brand, my online coaching business, and things of this nature. But porn and masturbation is honestly just lust in general is something that I still struggle with to this day because I'm a 24-year-old dude. Like my testosterone is at like the peak of its powers. Like I'm horny 24/7. I have a girlfriend that I've been with for 6 years, and she lives like an hour and a half away from me right now because she's in med school, and so I don't see her. Like I see her maybe like once a month, twice a month, maybe if that. And it's tough. It's tough, especially because of my past with porn and masturbation. But not only that, but like not giving into that now that I have a woman, because for for the first, like, this is really embarrassing to say, but like I said, I'm gonna be completely open with you guys. Like for the first like 1 to 2 years of the relationship that I was in with this girl that I'm with right now, I was still I was still masturbating and watching porn. And that was during the period of time where I think our relationship was suffering the most. Like now our relationship is great. And I think a lot of that stems from my ability to control my lust. So I think the biggest way, in my opinion, that I was able to personally break this addiction was first in terms of porn, putting like blockers on your Safari tab to prevent you from being able to go on certain sites. Just by adding that extra level of resistance to it will kind of like snap your mind out of it in the moment. Um, that's why I have social media blockers on my phone as well. So I can only like, I have to like manually go into the app, like click a button, and then it like takes the block off. And then like the block only lasts for like 5 minutes, and I only use it so I can like post Instagram stories and post my Instagram reels and TikToks and stuff like that. And then it immediately goes back and it kicks me off the app after the timer expires. So having stuff like that on your Safari tab can definitely help. Um, just add that extra layer of resistance. But then in terms of like the want and like the feeling that like you need to do it, what helped me was taking that energy that I feel that I want to go expel into a fucking sock, like taking that energy and channeling it into more constructive things and channeling that power, like that primal instinct of wanting to go do that, channeling it, channeling it into fuel to go do something that actually will make you better as a man. So I personally channel it into working out. Every time I get the feeling or the need to masturbate or watch porn or give into lust, every time I have this feeling, I always go train. Whether it's like or just go outside, like go on a walk, like just move your body. Because I know it might be a bit uncomfortable because I know a lot of you guys watching are probably all of you guys watching are men, and like it's kind of hard to like walk around when you're bricked up, right? So like just like for the time being, just like do some type of movement that like gets blood flowing in your body, and it'll like take your mind off of it for just a split second, and then every second that you resist doing it, the desire and the temptation to do it just gets less and less. So like one thing that really helped me, especially in the beginning, was every time I would start to get that feeling, that temptation of like wanting to go jerk off or watch porn or something like that, I would immediately drop down and do push-ups. And by the time I would finish the push-ups, because when I first started I could only do like 10, even 10 push-ups, like by the time I would finish the 10th rep and I would stand back up, I wouldn't feel like doing it as much. And the more and more I would do it, the feelings would just go away. And yeah, so just doing some type of movement, some type of activity to just distract your mind and take it away for just 1 second will decrease your likelihood of being able to do it. Now for food. Food is one that I honestly still struggle with sometimes to this day. Obviously, it doesn't look like it because I have a decent physique, but my my family doesn't really understand the whole thing about food when it comes to like how addictive some of the chemicals are in it, like high fructose corn syrup, red 40, blue 1, yellow 6, all of these different chemicals that are purported to us by big pharma and all of these food industry companies that are designed to keep us like mentally stupid and to keep us fat and to keep us like content with where we are. That's what those chemicals are designed to do. They don't understand that. I've tried to explain it to them, but my parents are very old school and they they have a very they just don't take really any of my advice for like at face value because I'm their kid, obviously. So they just see like, oh, because you're my kid, you're wrong and I'm right in every single scenario. It doesn't matter what the situation is, but that's besides the point. So junk food has always been kind of like in my household at all times. Like I'm in my parents' house right now. And this is one where like the out of sight, out of mind thing didn't really apply for me, even though it does help because if junk food is not around me, I won't eat it and like I won't crave it. But when it is around me, like it always is, it's very, very difficult for me to be able to resist going up stairs that are literally right there, going into the cabinet and grabbing like a cookie or some type of like treat. And for me, it was the junk food in combination with sometimes I would just get this feeling that like it was never enough. Like I could just never eat enough food, right? And I would just keep eating and eating and eating and eating. And like the feeling of like shame and like obviously I was bloated as hell and like the feeling of guilt after I would do that, it's just like it's something I never want to experience again. And I remember the last time I had a scenario like this was a few months ago, actually. It was back in February, and I remember finishing like 3,000 calories worth of food in like one sitting, and I remember just going to the bathroom to take a piss, and then my toilet faces the wall, and then the mirror and the sink is directly behind the toilet, and I remember turning around and looking at myself in the mirror, and I didn't have a shirt on during that time, and I was so bloated, like it didn't even look like I worked out. And I pride myself on my physique. Like my entire channel is based on like improving yourself through mindset, habits, training, and nutrition. Like those are two of the four pillars that I base my life on. And it's how I've been able to make the transformation that I've been able to make, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually as well. And turning around and looking at myself in the mirror and looking like I don't even work out, and like seeing like the little fat at the bottom of my stomach, because I hold a lot of fat in my lower abdomen, seeing that like hang over my shorts a little bit, even though like it just, the feeling it brought me was like disgust. And like I was creating content during this time as well. It was literally just a couple of months ago, and I I felt like a fraud, you know? Like I'm telling people to like get off the fucking couch, put the fork down, like you got to train hard, you got to eat right, you got to improve your mindset and do all these things. And like I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, you're not the fucking guy that steps in front of camera and tells all these people to do this and do that. Like you're not that fucking guy. You're a fraud. And it was from that day forward that I told myself, I was like, I'm never going to feel this ever again. And don't get me wrong, the feelings of temptation of wanting to go upstairs and eat something right now, like eat something shitty right now, it's still there. Don't get me wrong. All of these feelings and temptations of all these vices and addictions that I've had, they're still there. They don't go away ever fully. But in the process, you become more capable as a man with dealing with it, with overcoming these low level desires that are trying to steer you away from the path to becoming the highest version of yourself. You just become better at handling the challenges. And just having that thought in the back of my mind of exactly how I felt during that moment was enough for me to, even if I were to go up to the kitchen right now and like open the cabinet and like see the food that like I really like me personally, I love watermelon Sour Patch Kids. If you gave me like one of those family pack like size bags, I would eat the whole thing in one sitting. I've done it before multiple times. And there's a smaller bag of it up there in the cabinet right now. And I want nothing more than to go eat that right now. But if I were to go up there and open the cabinet, I would stare at it, and then the thought would immediately come into my mind of exactly how I felt looking in that bathroom mirror, which is right on the other side of this wall. I would I would remember that feeling that I'm feeling right now of how I felt during that moment, and that is enough for me to just not indulge in that activity. I feel like a lot of people with addictions, they think that because they desire it, that means that they're not disciplined, or because they want to go vape or do the drugs or drink or eat the junk food or watch porn or masturbate, they feel like because they want to engage in it, that means that they're not disciplined, or like that they have to go do it because they feel it. And they think that the people that are able to quit it are people that don't have this feeling. Like they're just blessed with like this genetic gift where they don't have these desires and temptations to want to do these bad habits. But it's not the case. I feel the exact same things as every single one of you. I get the same temptations of wanting to scroll TikTok and eat junk food and sit on the couch and do nothing all day. Like, I get the same feelings, but I don't let my emotions dictate my actions because I've been on that end of the spectrum where I have, and I know how bad it feels. And I've been on this end of the spectrum to where I've been able to overcome them. And I'm taking this one all fucking day, every day. And even if you're not on this end of the spectrum where I am now, understand the fact that I know people say the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but in this case, it is. I can guarantee you. Like the state of life that I was in when I was doing all of these bad habits and all these addictions, my state of life physically, mentally, emotionally, in my relationships, in my personal life, my family life, in my work, in my sport that I used to play and take very seriously, all of it was worse. And as soon as I started quitting these things one by one, my life just continuously got better and better and better and better. And now it feels like, obviously, I still go through obstacles and challenges and I face difficulties along the way, but I just feel like my life ever since quitting all of these addictions have has just been like a straight linear path of growth. And I want that for you. I want that for every single one of you watching. Because like I said, I know how it feels to be on this end of the spectrum. But being on the other side of the glass now, I'm telling you, like, it's not worth it. It's not. The feeling, like, I know how good it feels in the moment, but the detriment that you're doing to yourself, not only from just like a physical health perspective, but like the toll it's taking on your mind, the money that you have to spend on some of this shit, like it's it's just not worth it. It's all vanity, bro. Like the period of time in my life when I was the most degenerate was when I had the most friends and like people around me. But now that I've quit all of these things and separated myself from all these people, I can count on one hand the amount of friends that I have. Because I classify a friend to me as someone that I would take a bullet for and they would take a bullet for me. And someone that I could leave 100 grand cash with them, go away for a year, and come back, and I would never, I wouldn't even have to count the bills because I know not one singular dollar would be missing. That's a friend to me. And during the period of time when I was the most degenerate and I was indulging in all of these addictions, was the period of time that I had the most people around me. But I realized that all of these people in our lives that we call friends, a lot of them aren't. A lot of them aren't your friends. They just, you guys share a similar activity. And if you were to pull that activity out of like the middle that brings you guys together, if you pull that activity out of the equation, you guys wouldn't be friends. Like the guys that I'm about to get into video games, which is the last addiction that I had, the people I play video games with, as soon as I stopped playing video games, I stopped talking to them. The people that I used to do drugs with, as soon as I stopped doing drugs, I stopped talking to them and they no longer hit me up to do shit. The people that I used to buy vapes off and vape with and like drink with and all this stuff, as soon as I stopped doing those things, they stopped texting me to go do stuff and like they stopped staying in contact with me. So think about that with the the friends that you have right now in your life. If If you were to take the common activity that the both of you do when you guys hang out, if you were to take that out of the equation, would you two still be friends? And to your surprise, the answer is no in many cases. And I just got off a call with two of the people that I consider my friends now, and we have things in common. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like you shouldn't have things in common with your friends, but like we just sat there and talked about life, dude. Like it wasn't even like yeah, we spent the first half of the call talking about like productive things and like and content and some of the stuff that we're working on. Like one of them growing an agency, one of them has a relationship coaching business, and we talked about that kind of stuff. But then like we just transitioned into like talking about life. We're like, how you boys doing? Like what you been up to? And like we just started talking about life, talking about like our women, talking about like how school's going because one of them's like 17, and it's like when you can just sit there and just bullshit about random things with your friends, that's when you know like they're actually a friend and they're a ride or die. Because that's how I also know with my woman that she's the one, because she was with me when I was nothing, had nothing, and had no direction of ever becoming someone. So the fact that she stuck with me through all of that and has watched me grow and blossom into the man that I am today, and the fact that she had the patience to be able to stick with me through that, she's going to reap the benefits of the man that I will become. And I'm forever grateful for her for that, because I know so many women that would just dip, because I've had women in the past before her like that just dipped because they didn't see they didn't see the potential that I had that this woman saw in me. And I know I'm getting a little bit off topic, but I'll bring it back now. Basically, I'm extremely grateful for every single person that I have in my life right now, and I encourage you to digest every single one of the people that you spend the most time with, family and friends, because I've cut family members off as well. Break down every single one of the relationships that you have in your life right now that are the most important to you, and really ask yourself the question, like, is this person lifting me up, or is this person dragging me down? Is this person helping me move closer to my goals, or is this person like a parachute, like blow and the wind's blowing against me and like they're restricting me and like putting resistance on me getting closer to my goals? Ask yourself that question with every single person that is the most important to you in your life, and you're going to have a lot of difficult conversations, because I can almost guarantee you that a lot of the people that you spend time with are not constructive to the man that you want to become. But last but not least, video games. Now, video games was an obsessive personality one for sure, because I have the mindset of anything that I do, anything that I get immersed into, it becomes all I think about, and I want to be the best at it. So any video game that I would play, that I would enjoy and like, my mind immediately would go to, I have to be the best in the world at this. Whether it was Fortnite, FIFA, Call of Duty when I was younger. Um, I played a lot of sports games as well. Like every game, I would I would stay up till like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, just like grinding like missions and like completing tasks and like just playing like FIFA game after FIFA game after FIFA game, like just continuously trying to get better and better and better because I had this obsessive personality to where it was like I have to be the best in the world at this. And it goes back to what I said earlier. What I've done now is I've translated this obsessive personality into more constructive things. So now it's like I want to completely rewrite the fitness industry and like the personal development space, and I want to set a new standard for what it is to be a coach, like a mentor, because I've made multiple investments in my life into coaches and mentors, and a lot of them don't fulfill on the promises that they make. And they say it's a one-on-one mentorship, but they just drop you in like a $47 PDF course and then you never hear from the guy again. And it's like, what the fuck, you know? And I don't want that. Like I want every single person that comes across one of my videos, or if they decide to invest into my coaching, like I want every single person that comes across my path to leave better than they came, whether that's physically, mentally, knowledge wise, based on like what they can do to improve their nutrition. A video like this on how to break free of all these bad habits and addictions, whatever it might be. Everything that I do is to serve you guys. And that's why I'm switching up to this like kind of raw style of topic. It's not going to be the only thing I'm going to do. I'm also going to have shorter and more educational videos, like the video that I recently made on how to bulk without getting fat, which performed very well. I'm going to have videos like that as well, but I'm also going to start incorporating some of these raw talks because I felt like I was leaving a piece of me out of the content. I felt like I was sectioning myself off. Like there was the part of me in front of camera and then there was the part of me off camera. And I don't want that. I want to be able to come on here, press record and just be me with like unapologetically authentic. And this is how I intend on doing it. Just giving you guys a particular topic that I'm interested in and just pouring my heart out into it. And then having more specific, like nuanced things when it comes to like training, nutrition, mindset, stuff like that, and having shorter, condensed videos with a particular problem that you guys are facing and then attacking it head on so that you guys have practical and actionable steps that you can take away in like less than 10 minutes and go and improve your life and move on with the rest of your day. But some of these long ones, I don't expect everyone to watch all the way through, but the ones that do, I want every single one of you to leave this video because of the amount of time that you're investing into it. I want you to leave this video better than when you came. Whether I helped you have a new mindset and a perspective shift when it comes to quitting drugs or vaping or alcohol or porn or masturbating or food or video games like I'm talking about now. I want to be able to leave an impact on your life, even if it's only for a couple of minutes. And this is how I intend on doing it moving forward. So to wrap all this up with video games, the obsessive personality, right? And then, sorry, this is my first time doing a long form, so I was going pretty good. You can't admit. I was doing pretty good until that little lapse right there. But with video games, just like before, I feel like channeling that power of wanting to be the best, like I said before, in every game that I played, translating it into the real world. So, like, Andrew Tate has a quote that he's like, everyone wants to level up their character in GTA, make the most money, become strong and rich and powerful and influential, but no one wants to do it in real life. And I agree with some things Andrew Tate says, and I also disagree with some things Andrew Tate says. But the concept of treating life like a video game, I think, is extremely, extremely powerful because I feel like all of us have played video games at one point or another. Some may have been more addicted to it than others, like myself. But taking that mindset of wanting to be the best and leveling up your character, becoming smarter, becoming stronger, becoming more of a high value man, making money, getting the this is a bit materialistic, but like getting the fast car, getting the penthouse, whatever it might be. Leveling up your character in the game and translating that into leveling up your character in real life because it's the same thing. We go to the gym to level up our strength. We talk to women to improve our communication skills and to build relationships and hopefully find a woman that we'll spend the rest of our life with. We we build businesses. We start careers so we can make money and provide for ourselves and provide for our family. And it's all like a video game. Like I see life as like GTA. Like I'm playing GTA right now in my mind. And I'm just trying to level up all my stats to the max. And having that mindset of instead of being a fat, broke, insecure, single, not talking to any girls person, sitting on my couch playing a video game and trying to level up that virtual reality character instead of doing it in real life, that mindset shift for me was what allowed me to be like, hang on a minute. Why don't I just do what I'm doing in the game in real life? Like, yeah, it's harder because you actually have to experience the pain of growing a business or working out and doing cardio and the pain and the soreness that comes with that. But it's actually worth it because it's real life. You actually get to experience like having a high value woman, having the money, having the good physique, having people admire you, being an influential person, having a positive impact on the world, you know? So I think that mindset was what really help me quit video games. And that's all of them. We got drugs, vaping, alcohol, porn and masturbation, which is lust, and then video games. Those were all of the things that I was addicted to from as early as like the age of like 5 or 6, which was video games, and then porn at 9, food for honestly as long as I can remember, um, alcohol, vaping, and drugs a bit later in life, like teenage years, and now sitting here at 24 years old, clean of all of it, and I I couldn't be more grateful. I was going to say happy, but I don't like the word happy. I think grateful, fulfilled, joyful, I think those are better terms. Because if you're chasing happiness in life, you're going to be more likely to indulge in these addictions because they bring you a sense of happiness. But when you chase fulfillment, when you chase joy and the things that actually bring you joy in life and actually bring you like true fulfillment deep in your heart, it's not going to be from any of those low level desires. It's going to be from improving yourself, developing yourself. It's going to be from growing as a man, improving your stats, like in a video game. So I hope you guys found this valuable. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more videos like this, if you guys actually enjoyed this like raw, real, unfiltered talk like this. Obviously, like I said before, I'm gonna incorporate both. I'm gonna have like the shorter, more educational videos in combination with these long, raw and unfiltered talks. But let me know if you guys enjoyed this because I actually really, really, really enjoyed making this video. And I wanted to take this time to let you guys in and be a bit more vulnerable in front of camera instead of sectioning myself off like I said before. And this right here, this video, this outro is my vow to you that from this point forward, I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to hide anything from you guys. I'm not going to hide a piece of me that I think like is weird or like is a shortcoming of mine that I don't want to put on camera, like that little stutter right there. I would have cut that out before. But now I just want to be a completely open vessel and just pour my heart and soul into this camera and help as many of you as I possibly can. So if you do want personal help from me, bit of a shameless plug to end off this video, I do have a book a call link down in the description where you can sign up for a free call with me. We'll hop on, see if you're a good fit for my one-on-one coaching program, and I will help you build an unbreakable mindset and sculpt the greatest physique that your bloodline has ever seen. But thank you for watching. I love you boys, and I will see you in the next one.